Hello everyone and welcome back to the French Cooking Academy. My name is Stéphane. Today we're revisiting a simple dessert which is the rice pudding, and we're going to do a little exercise trying to compare how cooks and pastry chefs make dessert. The rice pudding is one of these desserts that can be made, by both parties, the cooks and the pastry chef. But what are the differences? And today we're going to be using one of France's best pastry chef recipe and see what are the key differences. Stay tuned. So what is the key difference between a cook and a pastry chef? This is something I've been wondering for a really long time, and what I found is actually very simple. The cooks are big picture person. They're people that see things in their mind and they have the idea up there and they say, oh, I'm going to add a bit of this, a bit of that and make it work. The pastry chef, on the other hand, is the detail-oriented person. He needs his little formula. He needs to have the ingredients precisely, and you will know if you try to bake, this is why a lot of cooks are not good at baking like me, because you just can't follow this precise step and have the grammage right, just one tiny spoon of this, a tiny bit of that, otherwise it just fails. So when I looked at how Pierre Herme, this is his name, the famous pastry chef from France, and I see his recipe, the way he's approached it, he used that as a formula. And so he's taken the formula of the cook, that I've tried 5 recipes from known chefs that are cooks for rice pudding. The formula was like this: you had rice, and then you had sugar, milk, and vanilla. If you put it in an equation and you put in equal, sugar, milk, and vanilla gives you nothing. It's just a sweet vanilla flavored milk. When you look at the pastry chef, what Pierre Herme has done, he says, okay, that formula doesn't work. I'm gonna add something to make it work. So what he's done is added one simple ingredient, and that's the formula. Egg yolks, sugar, milk, and vanilla equal custard. That's right. He simply created or completed formula so that you end up with a dessert that is a perfectly cooked rice that is bathing in a French vanilla custard. It is magical. Now let's see how to make it. Now let's see what we need to make our rice pudding. So first off, like always, the ingredients are listed in the video description. This is just a rough guide. We're going to be using full cream milk, some sugar, 2 egg yolks. Our boil rice is the round grain rice, a fresh vanilla pot, some butter. For the cookware, I'm using a 24 centimeter or 10 inches large saucepan with a thick bottom and a simple tray, a metal tray we're going to use to cool down the rice pudding very quickly at the end. And now to the stove. So the first thing you're going to do is to take a small pan with water and bring it to the boil, as we're going to be using this very briefly to blanch our rice. In the same time, using my large saucepan, we're going to prepare our milk. So we're going to start to warm up the milk with the other ingredients, mainly sugar and vanilla. So you pour all of your milk, put it in the pan, and then you're going to be adding your sugar, all of it, and the vanilla pod. Now let me show you how we do the vanilla pod. Quick reminder on the vanilla pod, you take your vanilla pod, I've sliced it in two, and inside you can see here, these are the seeds that sit inside the vanilla pod. So with a knife, you're just gonna extract all of that. So you see, take all of these and we're gonna put this in our pan. That's how we want to have the bean and the seed separately, all together in the pan. So like we've seen, vanilla pod and the seeds inside, and use the same with this other one. When you're done, put your heat on, medium, and you're gonna slowly, very slowly, bring your milk almost to the boil. And while this is going, we're gonna blanch our rice. To blanch the rice, very simple. You first clean it under cold water, and then I'm gonna put it in the boiling water. Once the rice has been rinsed, you pour everything in the boiling water, and you're going to leave it to boil for 2 minutes. After 2 minutes of boiling, the rice is ready, and we're going to drain it and add it to our warm milk. Our milk is now warm enough, and perfect timing, we can add all of the rice in. You mix well, and as you can see, I've changed burners. Now I'm on a very small burner, and that's going to have to cook for 30 to 35 minutes on an absolute simmer. So we're gonna have to leave this to cook. So now that the rice is gently cooking, let's talk about the technique from Pierre Herme and how does he manage to make a custard with that recipe, where basically he's deconstructing the custard only to reassemble it at the end. So what you have here, it's almost all of the element of a custard, which is the vanilla, the sugar, and the milk together. And these are the three ingredients, but there's one ingredient missing. But the magic in all that is that it doesn't matter when you add the fourth ingredient as long as it's in, and as you would see later on, that preparation will become a custard, but we'll see that after. Alright, so after 35 minutes your rice is cooked and it's all creamy. The first thing you're going to do is turn the heat off, and the second thing we're going to do immediately before we continue is to get rid of all of the vanilla pods. Now, at this point, we are basically where the cook will usually stop the rice pudding. And you got something that's cooked, it's nice and creamy, there's plenty of vanilla, the flavor is beautiful, and it kind of looks a bit white, and for me, it's got that kind of porridge kind of look. And for Pierre Herme also, it's exactly the thing, it looks like an unfinished formula. So to take it further, what Pierre Herme does, he starts by adding the following extra ingredients. 30 grams of butter. Cold butter, so that the boiling rice is gonna be coming down in temperature just enough so that we can add our egg yolk without cooking them. And it's also gonna add some nice creaminess to your rice. So you first melt all of the butter in the rice. Finally, to recreate the custard, you can add 2 or up to 3 egg yolks. So that's such simple little things. It actually looks like a face. Hello. So yeah, you break your eggs, your egg yolk, and you're gonna keep on moving that mix. You don't want the egg to cook too much. So you're gonna mix the whole lot, and it's gonna get that kind of yellow tinge. And the more we're gonna mix, the more it's gonna become just a nice kind of light yellow color. And look at this. Look at the texture of this rice. Look at how it looks. It is really a vanilla custard. It just amazes me. As soon as our rice pudding or custardy rice pudding is ready, and what pastry chef will usually do in baking is to cool down the preparation very quickly. And so you take a tray and you're gonna pour the delicious creamy custardy. Look at that thing. Wow. Now let's have a closer look at that color. I mean, look at this. Now this is the difference between professional baking. Look at this color. Wow, this is like a pure, it's like vanilla ice cream with rice. Wow, really good. So the last step consists of putting this in the fridge or in the freezer a little bit to cool it down rapidly before we serve it. The rice pudding is served, or shall I say, the custard rice pudding is served. And honestly, looking at that, look at that color and that texture. This is pure. That's vanilla custard at its best. And what I want to say is, like, respect, guys, all the pastry chefs. I'm absolutely stunned. They know what they are doing. As much as executive chefs know their stuff, the pastry world, there's something I need to explore in there. Absolutely fascinating. But that will conclude the video for the day, guys. I hope you enjoyed that recipe. If you have the chance, do try it. It will change your views forever on rice pudding. If you have any comments, please drop me the comments in the comment section. You can send me personal messages. If you want to join me on Patreon, this is the page to support the channel. That would be absolutely fantastic. And as for me, I'll see you all next week for another French recipe. Until then, take care.